yoga teaches us to look in people's eyes, and through their eyes, you can see their soul. And I could see smiley faces, but I didn't find that many happy eyes. I want those eyes to be happy because I've been there.
My conversation with Anilda Nocka, a yoga teacher from Albania, was so powerful as we really took a deep dive into yoga in Albania and into what Baptiste Power Yoga is, how she studied with Baron Baptiste, as well as how she's been this changemaker, this community-driven changemaker in Albania, bringing yoga there and what that has done for her community. So I hope this conversation has given you some things to reflect on about what yoga can do for a community, what yoga can do for you, and also how yoga can be a best friend to you, or a way, a method, a tool, a space, a practice to hold you through hard things. So if you're looking to tune into a podcast episode that is all about yoga in Albania, then this is the conversation for you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Lily Allen Duenas. Together, we'll talk about the world of yoga and we'll talk to people from around the world. Before diving into the episode, I wanted to invite you to head on over to my Patreon account. I would love your support, and I'm thrilled to have this beautiful community space where we can do yoga together, meditate together, and you'll get access to exclusive content. Get ready for some private Zoom Q&As, free printable art, meditation recordings, and more. Follow the link in the show notes to get started, or head on over to any of my social media channels or my website, wildyogatribe.com, to hang out, get to know each other better, and find out more about all the support and resources available to you. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. Namaste, family, and welcome back to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. Today, I am so excited. We are back from our break. We celebrated the 100th podcast episode together. We took a season break, and now we're back with episode 101 with an amazing yoga teacher from Albania. So I hope you join me in welcoming Anilda Nocka onto the show today. Anilda is a trailblazing yoga teacher from Albania. She pioneered the introduction of certified Baptiste Power Yoga to the Balkans, notably in Albania itself. With over 2 decades of yoga expertise in both North America and Albania, Anilda is not only a dedicated yogi, but a community-driven changemaker and the owner of Baptiste Power Yoga Studio in Tirana. Certified in various disciplines, including Baron Baptiste Power Yoga and Lakshmi Volker Chair Yoga Therapy, Anilda is on a mission to inspire and elevate lives every day. So thank you so much, Anilda, for being here with me today.
Thank you so much, Lily, for having me. And it's a great honor to join you in this amazing podcast of yours. And congratulations on the 101 podcast.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to hear your story. To start, can you tell us how yoga first came into your life? How did you find out about yoga, and what made you want to start practicing?
If I have to be honest, yoga found me instead of me finding yoga. I was in the U.S. living. I'm an Albanian born, young lady of 50. And I was living in the U.S. at the time. And I got invited into a yoga class, and like everybody else, around 2000, everybody thought that yoga was just like sitting down and meditating. I got challenged from a good friend of mine to try a yoga class. And I was very blessed and honored to take my first yoga class experience into Cleveland Yoga Studio with an amazing teacher. And I was like, I entered a 90-minute class, an advanced level. I've never done yoga before. I've done Pilates. I've done a little bit of physical activity, but nothing like that. And I was like, wow, what is this? And I had never experienced or felt anything like that in all my other physical experiences and practices. It was like a life-changing experience. I started going a little bit more often. And I was like, wow, I want to practice this thing, whatever it's called, because it was quite challenging. It was something that stayed with you for a very long time. And Cleveland yoga, their style was that peace-inspired yoga style. And that's how my journey started.
Amazing. Amazing. And can you share more about your experience as a yoga teacher in Albania? What challenges and rewards have you encountered along the way?
I was working in the corporate world. Teaching yoga was not even in any of my wildest dreams or crazy dreams, whatever you want to call them. And I was getting ready to go to Oxford for my PhD. So I was a little bit busy doing my own thing. And so I got a break from yoga in 2006 because I went to England and I didn't have enough time to figure out where to go. But as soon as I got back, it was like, okay, I need to get back into this. And I practiced regularly as much as I could. And then my break was in one of the yoga journal conferences in Utah, where I had the chance to get a reservation somehow. I don't even know how I ended it up in there, to be honest with you. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was meant to be. And it was one of the most amazing experiences that I've lived. I had the time to meet amazing yoga teachers, people with such great heart. And that I was coming out of a bad family situation. My dad had just passed away, and I was usually a person that cried about everything, about a movie, about a good. So if I went to church, I cried. And when my dad passed away after a car accident, I was not able to cry for a very long time. And I was in this big faith practicing with Baron Baptiste himself. And I couldn't stop crying after 9 months. And I was like, oh my God, I know that everybody's looking at you. You're crying. You're making a fool of yourself. But somehow rather, I just felt free. I just felt that I needed to cry and I didn't care. That was a different changing moment, made me realize that there is so much to yoga other than what I was practicing into the yoga studio. Sure, I never thought at that point that yoga would be my future, honestly, and I never even thought about it. I was this academic person. I studied, I worked, I had challenging positions. But then I came to Albania that winter, and I was like, I had a place here to go and practice yoga. And this is 2010. And they would just turn around and look at me like, what is yoga? What are you talking about? We have gyms. You can go run. You can do things. But what are you talking about? And I started showing them what I've been doing in my yoga classes, in my yoga practice. And they were like, oh, wow, this sounds so much fun. That's so amazing that you can do this. Can you teach us? And I was like, no, I actually cannot teach you. I'm not trained to teach you. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And it was really that moment, not because my friend or family asked me, but in that moment, it was just the first click that maybe there is something to yoga that I was taking for granted, that I didn't see, but the other people that had never tried it was seeing in me, seeing me change, seeing me be more open, more friendly, my energy being a lot more positive and open. It was like, I'll think about it and I'll go back to the States. Right now, I just have things to do. I went back to the States. I forgot about teaching yoga. And then all of a sudden, reality brings me back again to Albania. And I was like, why not? And you have to also understand that my parents are Albanian. They moved to the US in 94. But for a Balkan mother to see her own daughter leave a professional life in the US and go to Albania to start a yoga studio, it's unbelievable. It's not even in the books. It's not even after all these years, my mom can't believe that I'm in Albania teaching yoga. And it's quite interesting, my conversations with her about yoga and what I do and transforming life just by doing physical movement and inspiring people. And it's been quite a journey, quite interesting for me, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. I think that I loved hearing so much about your journey. I feel like you covered so much in the last few minutes, and I don't even know what I want to ask about next. I would love, though, to hear about what it was like to study with Baron Baptiste himself. And I know that a lot of our listeners are yoga teachers, yoga students, but some of us may have never practiced Baron Baptiste, may not even know what it is. Could you start off telling us a little bit more about that style, that practice, and the person? What was it like to study with the founder himself?
Mhm. Well, meeting there is the first impact is wow. And how can such a young person, when I met him, be able to do so much? The famous yoga teachers that you read about their journey, you read their books, and you read all that. But when I met Baron at the yoga journal conference, it was like meeting another person, so simple, so friendly, so down to earth, that just looks at you in the eye and said, you will be in my next teacher training. And I'm like, me? You're kidding. No, no, no. I don't want to be a yoga teacher. I'm not a yoga teacher. I'm not good enough. And he just looked at me, see you soon. It was like that. You're like, oh God, it's just a 90-minute class. He taught it. It was amazing. We're all pumped up. What does he know about me? He doesn't even know what my name is. So when I first I registered myself for the first 100-hour boot camps. He called them boot camps. And believe me, they are literally boot camps. And you go through a whole process. You have to do some reading. They call you. You do an interview with the staff of the institute. They want to know why you want to teach yoga, and why you want to train, and why you want to go through this, why you want to transform your life, what's missing in your life. And most of the time, my answers were like, I don't know what's missing in my life. That's what I'm curious about. And then you get to the first 100 hours, and it was like we were in Phoenicia, New York, in the Catskills and up in the mountain. And it's this beautiful place. And I was flabbergasted by the number of people showing up to this training. And we were all from different backgrounds. They give you enough time to introduce each other to your group, to people. And then you talk to people, and they are doctors, they're engineers, it's a McDonald's worker, it's a cleaning lady, it's a homemaker, it's a teacher. And I was like, what does this person do? How can he get such a diverse group of people all together? How can we all be? And then the training started. And trust me, it is a boot camp. It breaks you. It challenges you. It makes you dig down. On the third day, you were ready to give up. Even though you paid all that money to be there, you made all the sacrifices, you read all the literature, and you did all that, and you're like, I don't care. I'm going to get out of here. How can I pay all this money and these people are just telling us how messed up we are, how messed up our thinking is. How dare they tell us this? And most of the people, it was amazing. Some people left in very abrupt, throwing tantrums during the training and all that. And they would go, I'm going to leave. I don't want to be here. What the hell is this? And then the next morning, they came back and it was like, oh, wow. Why? And I was, to be honest with you, I was about on my first 100 hours. I was like, forget it. I'm just going to go. I don't need that. I'm really, I don't need that in my life. But then you stay. There is that mystic, that mystery that you want to dig down because you get curious about why are they pushing this? Why are they pressuring us to let go of things? Because there is something behind there. There is a reason why people get there. And then on the fourth day, you have that aha moment. It's, oh, wow, wait a minute. It was me. It was not them wanting to hurt me or to do something. And then that's when the real training, the real connection between people that trained with you right next to you. In those first 8 days, we trained with everybody in the group. There was a rule that we didn't understand that every day we showed up on the mat or into our theory classes or anatomy or psychology. And then at the end of all this, when we presented the first day ourselves, it was like, oh, I'm Anilda. I have a PhD from here. I have a degree from here. I have this from here. On the last day when we did finish and we were like getting ready to leave, we got on the podium. They gave us a mic and, hi, I'm Anilda. And that's all could come out of me. And that moment is where you understand how much that training gave me. So it was like you were a human, you were a soul, you were a beautiful energy that didn't need the titles or didn't need the social standing or what you drove or where you lived. You were a Anilda. Everybody in the group knew you as such, knew you as a positive person. That when you got the mic and guided the group into a full class, it was you they were following, not your title. It was your energy they wanted to receive from.
Amazing. I love that acknowledgement of you as a soul, taking everything else away and just acknowledging the soul to the soul, right?
Yep. And I think that is the thing that makes us, I believe, all the people that go through the journey of yoga is take a pause and take it all in. But I believe all of the people that I trained with in the first 100 hours, we were like in awe. We were like, oh my God, what happened? We were here. We came with a load of our own personal baggage and claims and entitlements. And then we realized that at the end of it, we're all the same. We carry the same stigma or the same baggage like everyone else. And we can elevate each other without worrying about where we come from. It was a life-changing experience and it changed my whole perspectives about my future in the sense that I was born in Albania and I came from a very poor country, communist country. So we have to fight hard to get forward, to get the best grade in school, to go to college, to get a degree, to move forward in life. And that way of thinking follows you. But then you appreciate everything and you enjoy your blessings or your hard work a lot more in the moment that you take a break, you take a moment of pause, appreciate everything that you've been blessed with, but also find your own soul. You find you. You find what completes you as a human being, as an entity, as energetically, physically, mentally. I don't know if maybe I'm a little bit too passionate about it, but to me, it hit home. He was like, wow, I knew I was a good person and I helped a lot of people, but it was like, wow, I love this.
I love that you love this. And I'm sure that your community in Albania has loved that you've brought it to them. I would love to hear more about the growth of the yoga community in Albania since you started teaching in 2011 and where it is now. I just walk us through the journey of yoga in Albania.
When I first came, it was very few people that even knew what yoga was. There were a couple, 2, 3 people that were like, let's say, USA that would come to Albania in their journey to help the nonprofit organizations that were starting to introduce people because yoga in those years was like a total novelty for Albania. When I first went to the offices, like the government office to register and get my license and get the thing. Actually, the guy was like, what does this thing do? Do you cook? Do you prepare food? It's a restaurant. What are you trying to do? And she didn't even know where to put it, where to classify the registration. So that was really sweet in a way, but it was like, the people were like, what is this thing? What do you do? What's the purpose of this thing? Because there were gyms, there were things as boxing rings and stuff, but nothing like yoga and when you sit and meditate or do practice or anything. So slowly the people started, it was not easy. The journey honestly was not easy. The first 2, 3 years, I gave myself enough faith knowing that this was a brand new thing. And I had to, together with other people that in the same time arrived in Albania, we had to start to change the way people thought about, because as soon as you said yoga, you said meditation, Albania, it's a very mixed religion country. So we have Muslims, we have Catholics, we have Orthodox, we have Jews, we have people that of no denomination. So you have to walk through that fine line and explaining them that yoga, it's not a religion. It doesn't have to be. You just take the best of what yoga has to offer. You bring it to the 21st century and you make it yours. You take the benefits. You don't have to do all that. And one of the reasons that Baptiste style was a little bit more attractive was just because of that. It's inclusive. It just makes you work with you, look inside of you. It's a moving meditation. So the more you move into the practice, into the sweat and into the breath and into how you integrate all the elements of yoga, if people don't feel that sitting in meditation is what they want, you just move through them and you just break these barriers through the movement, through the breath, through challenging poses. And in a way, they're meditating, but without realizing they're meditating. There was, in the beginning, was like, oh no, I want to do the movements, but I don't want to meditate because it was like a little bit like a scary approach. But then the more people started to come and they brought more friends and they brought their brothers and sisters, their husbands, their wives, they started slowly introducing each other to yoga and to the challenges and to what yoga brings into your life. Very slowly, we worked with educating the people that were practicing with us to understand how much opportunities and how many spaces were available into their life, to introduce the teachings of yoga into their everyday busy lives, professional lives, and everything else.
That's always one of the battles, isn't it? Is showing how you can integrate it, how not everyone has time for a 90-minute class or a 30-minute class, or not everyone wants to do an asana-based class, or some people don't want to sit and meditate. I love that there's so many different paths and so many different things you can take away to make it right for you.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so I would love to hear too, I ask this question to every guest who's on the show. What is your personal definition of yoga?
Yoga will be summed up in one word. It's been my salvation. It's been my grounding. It has been there when I needed it the most, in the most difficult time of my life. And somehow rather, when you lose someone, people go, oh my God, how am I going to leave? How am I going to do? I was like, wow, this thing really worked. And I was like, I could get on the mat and I found peace for those 10 minutes in the beginning, for 20 minutes, and then it got longer and longer. And I was like, this yoga practice, at least for me, was what kept me grounded, what saved my life, honestly. And so once I went through that experience, and then the more the time passed and the more I had time to look back at my experience and what I went through, I could share this with people. Because usually the Balkan people, it's something that happened, it lasts for 20 years. We're wasting so much time into our lives regretting or thinking that why me? There is so much more to life. And it teaches you, it taught me that whatever happens into our lives, maybe it's not always a bad thing. It's, yes, you lose a person, but maybe you gain a gift. You look for something different to take over or to fill that gap. In the moment that you start taking time and working with yourself and finding that peace and carrying the people or the situations that you miss always within your heart and surround them with love and grace, they're always there with you.
You're right. They are. And I love that yoga came into your life at that time when you needed it so much. And I am sorry for your loss. And I'm grateful that yoga, yeah, I'm so sorry for it. It's something that's enormous and immense, but having yoga as your best friend through all of that, or as your therapist, or not that I think you still need friends. I think you still need therapists. I mean,
Definitely.
but to have yoga there to hold you so that you can be held during that time it's unbelievable. And during every day, we need to be held and to hold, and both. And I think yoga does both for us. And I love the word that you chose for what is your definition of yoga as salvation. Yoga is salvation. That's so powerful and beautiful. And I do want to just ask and talk about how you brought yoga to Albania. You brought Baptiste yoga to the Balkans. So you knew you didn't want to open the studio in the US, and you knew that Albania needed it, or the people, your community there. Can you talk about specifically why you decided to open the studio where you did?
I never thought about opening a yoga studio in the US. And when I arrived in Albania, I was like, I'll just take some time off and just dedicate it to myself. But I still needed a place to practice. And in that time, I was here with a friend of mine from the US. And we were like, let's do yoga. Let's practice yoga. Let's find a place where we can practice. And then we're like, I thought we open a yoga studio. And we were both like, no, we can't do that. We're not trained. When you come from the US, everything is like, you gotta get the training before you take the step. But we realized that in Albania, people took the step first and then the training later. Yoga gave so much to me. And everyone that I met, my friends, my relatives, I could see it in their eyes that they were supposedly physically happy in their life. They were telling me, but yoga teaches us to look in people's eyes, and through their eyes, you can see their soul. And I could see smiley faces, but I didn't find that many happy eyes. I want those eyes to be happy because I've been there. I've been with the sad eyes. I've been when I was hiding from looking people in the eyes because I was so sad in my life. And I didn't ask, what's your sadness? What's your problem? I just said, join me. Come on. We'll do it together. We'll just open a yoga studio. And they were like, what are you talking about? And then we started slow. We found the space. We painted it ourselves. We fixed it up. We put some mats. And we ordered my first big expense in Albania. I ordered good Manduka mat. And it was a challenge because we couldn't find mats. But I contacted the people at Manduka and they were nice because they had a distribution center in Germany and they delivered the mat that year. And we were like excited. Guess what? The first month, nobody showed up. Second month, one person, maybe 2 a week, maybe 3, maybe 5. So we were like, you get those glitches. And it's maybe this was not such a great idea, but I knew it was a great idea. Deep in my heart, I knew that people were looking for something, but they just simply didn't know for what. So we hung in there for a while. And then my friend returned to the US and stayed. And I went to the second training with Baron, which was amazing. And then from then, when I came back, the help from the institute, the teachers that I met during my training has been amazing with ideas, with support. Some of them even came all the way to Albania and did some trainings in person, I was very blessed. My dear friend, Luca Richard, he was one of the teachers at that time with the institute. He came all the way from the US and he taught an amazing 40-day revolution journey in Albania. And it was like, having him here was like, wow, we really can do this. So I'm not going to say that it's been all like colors and flowers and balloons. It's been hard the first 3 years of the yoga studio in Albania. I'd already prepared myself that it was not going to be easy. It was a brand new thing. But people slowly started to show up. They got curious. They wanted to know more. And I was always there. I was always the same person with everyone that showed up in the studio. They were like, don't you get sick? Don't you get tired of us? Don't you get tired of doing this? And I was like, yes, I do, but I love doing this. So I love sharing this. So to me, it was like, it was not a job. It was a passion. It was something that came from my heart. And at the end, the community showed up. They just surrounded me with lots of love and support, and we've done a lot of traveling and retreats and teacher trainings and all that. And it's been an amazing journey. I'm very blessed. We have an amazing community of people that change, they come, they go, new people come in. There's people here that have been with me for 8 years. They've never left. They just, no matter what, rise or shine or sun or frozen times, we're here, we're all together. We stuck together during the COVID, and we moved all our classes online during that period, and the community showed up every day on their mats in their homes. And in Albania, we were very blessed. We were closed for only like 3 months, so we didn't suffer as much as some of the other countries. We were open a lot faster. So we had the opportunities to be with our community, taking care of all the things that other studios did also, but they showed up, they were here, and it's been amazing ever since.
Awesome. Oh, I love hearing that it's been amazing. And it has been, of course, it has taken some time to get the role and to have people buy in and understand, okay, what is yoga? Why should I practice? And knowing that the first people who showed up trusted you and were curious and then brought friends with them and family. And I love hearing those stories of origin, because I know that there are a lot of yoga teachers that I speak to from every corner of the world who they are the first person to bring yoga to their country. And it is a journey and it doesn't happen overnight, but I do love hearing how it has grown for you. And I appreciate you so much for sharing. Also, for our listeners too, who do not know very much, Anilda, about Albania, can you talk to us about your country? What is Albania like? Maybe if you want to do some geography or some history or just what the energy of the place feels, anything that you'd like to share on your country, we'd love to hear.
Albania is a very small country in the Mediterranean, and it's surrounded by Italy, Greece, and Montenegro. So it's right on the little here of the Italian peninsula route. And it's a small country, but it's so vast. It goes from the mountains all the way to the sandy beaches or to the stony beaches in the south. And this country has been through a lot and in their history. And we come from a background of communism that was changed in 1990. And I was part of the generation that moved and lived through in between the two changes between communism and democracy. Albania has developed a lot. It's been like the number one European destination in the last, I believe, 2 years as far as tourism. Or we had amazing beaches. We've been blessed with beautiful beaches, and now the infrastructure is coming along and of it slowly. So much better than 10, 12, 15 years ago when I first got back here. So things are changing and things are moving forward. It's a country that it amazes me each and every day. People are, considering we've come from a background of a communism country, our first willingness is to move out of Albania, to look for better opportunities. And sometimes I'm not trying to be patriotic here or anything. I'm not. I just moved to Albania because this was a place where I felt safe. I felt good. I had my friends. I had my relatives. But there is so much opportunity for young people to come and do a lot of things, to stand up for creating beautiful things. You don't need a lot of money. Yes, you need the money to make a better life, definitely, but there is so much things, so many things that you can create. There is such a beautiful energy in the people. There is so much hope for a better future and to create something that's safe here. Most of my friends, we have lived all around the world. We have created our careers and families and opportunities. And at the end of the day, we always go back somehow to our roots, to where we feel welcomed without having to belong. Albania has been a country that has suffered a lot, but also has gained a lot. I see younger entrepreneurs, people that are creating beautiful things in here. I read about an Albanian girl being the chief of the artificial intelligence at Google, and I hear Albanian guys at MIT that are creating this beautiful thing. They're working with all these amazing programs. So Albania, if you haven't been to Albania, and if you love the Greek islands, or if you love the Mediterranean food, you don't have to go to Italy or Greece or some of these places. You come to Albania. It's beautiful. Without taking anything away from Greece and Italy, with all the respect, I love those places. But it's a country that mixes up lots of cultures, lots of experiences. And the bigger area, metropolitan area, Tirana is the capital of Albania. We got a little bit of everything, but that's normal with the big city. But it's a country that is very safe. I can go out 2:00, 3:00 in the morning all by myself, and I don't feel that I have to feel frightened. I've never felt that way. By the time I've been here, I've always traveled alone all around Albania, and I've never felt that I needed to have someone to protect me. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, I love hearing about Albania, and also
you're welcome to come and visit. We would love to have you and your husband come and visit anytime you want.
Oh, thank you so much. I actually did live in Greece for about a year. I had three different times I lived there, 4 months, 4 months, 4 months. And
amazing.
I was teaching also in Greece on an art fellowship. And I had a lot of students from Albania. And so I have I think it's called a besa, right? Like a promise. That if I go to Albania, I have someone to show me around. But that was 10 years ago. So
now you got another one that is more. Think about it. Maybe next summer or something. Summers are beautiful. Winters are a little bit like in the US, but summers are a lot better.
Oh, yeah. I live in Iowa in the middle of the US now, and winters are tough. Mm-hmm. So I usually advise people not to come in winter as well. But I hear that. And we don't have skiing here. So do you have any skiing in Albania for the winters? Or?
Yes, in some areas there is skiing also.
Okay. Anilda, it's been such a joy to speak with you and hear your story and also your passion. I just loved really hearing all of your thoughts on yoga and what it means in your journey and what it's done to your life and how it's growing in Albania too. So for anyone who's listening to our podcast episode that wants to get to know you better, I will definitely link your website as well as your Instagram in the show notes. So you can just scroll down, click, and you'll be taken right to Anilda's website and Instagram account. But Anilda, here on the show today, would you like to just say out loud the name of your website and Instagram?
Okay, our website is Baptiste Power Yoga Albania.com. And the same name as on Instagram, Baptiste Power Yoga Albania. And I really thank you so much, Lily, for this opportunity. And it's been such a joy to talk to you. And I hope you really soon will make a one-on-one talk in Tirana. So you can host your podcast from Tirana.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anilda. I love speaking with you, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you so much. This was amazing, and I really appreciate your work and your passion about this. This is really an amazing opportunity. But you got a number, so whenever you want to join us in Albania, we will be very happy to have you.
Thank you for the gift of your attention today. If you feel called, please share this episode with someone who you think could benefit from it. Leaving a review would also be so appreciated. I also hope you can join me online on my website, wildyogatribe.com, or on social media. I would love to get to know you better. I would love to share with you and to hear your thoughts. Send me a DM, send me a note, get in touch. It would be great to hear from you. And as always, be well, dear one, be well.